I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're charging this car. '22 Hyundai IONIQ 5.
Ultimate all-wheel drive, which is the limited in the United States without launch control. Pretty quick.
A little slow because we're at 36% battery. We'll get into that later. Horsepower and torque.
320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque from a 77 kilowatt-hour battery and 2 electric motors because this is all-wheel drive.
Hit me with the range.
Depending on which model you get, the range goes from 354 kilometers all the way up to 488 kilometers.
And I guess we should also add that this is an electric car.
Yes, it definitely is.
And IONIQ is the new electric brand from Hyundai. There used to be a Hyundai IONIQ, now this is the IONIQ 5.
They kind of did what they did with Genesis and like made it like its own brand.
Not the worst move. And then competition-wise, this competes with a Chevy Bolt EUV, the Kia EV6, which is pretty much an exact clone of this, which we'll be driving in a few days.
Yeah, and the Mustang Mach E.
Anything else?
The Tesla Model Y.
Yeah.
And the Volkswagen ID4, which I love.
And then looking at the outside of this quickly, this is a hatchback. It is a 4-door. It's kind of a car, not an SUV, but it's kind of an SUV.
It's definitely an SUV. It's huge.
But it is smaller than an MDX that we parked next to, and it is shorter than an iMIV.
Yes, and I also parked it next to my Fiesta ST, and it towered over it.
It can be big. There's a lot of room in here. It's got a long wheelbase. However, it doesn't feel that big to me at all.
Yeah, it's got a 2-inch longer wheelbase than the Hyundai Palisade for context. And for context, you actually need context because if you see this on the road just parked, it looks like a cool little hatchback, but it's massive.
Okay, I want to start off with the looks of this because this is the best looking car of the year, I think.
Design of the year, 100%.
And when we saw it at the auto show 2 years ago, we're like, oh, another dumb concept that's never going to look like the actual car.
They did it.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, like actually though.
The best. Coolest headlights, coolest taillights, cool like digital pattern.
Cool wheels.
Cool body lines, cool matte paint in this one, which is a little darker than the trim that goes around it. And then this has an additional package which gets us 20-inch wheels instead. And what would be the Continental recommended tire for an IONIQ 5?
Well, it's the ones that we're driving on, the Viking Contact 7s for the winter or the Cross Contact LX Sport in the summer.
And in winter, this thing has been great.
It actually has been.
Especially in all this kind of crappy, wet, cliche corner weather.
Yeah, it's really cold out, which kind of affects the range as well.
We're not at the battery issues yet. We have a huge battery rant. We're going to hold on till a little bit later. Is there anything about the looks of this that you don't like?
Nothing. Literally nothing. Like, I love this car.
I like the dark roof, which is holding this awesome sunroof, which closes from both sides.
And the fact that you can close it is kind of a thing that doesn't really happen in electric cars like this with massive roofs.
Yeah, like I think the I-Pace was probably all open, or
and
at least
Taycan,
the Teslas, I think.
Taycan, yeah.
Well, now the Taycan's got that crazy digital one, but I mean, that's like super rich people car.
Yeah.
And this isn't super rich people car, but it's very difficult to get one because so many people have pre-ordered them. But if you're looking for one in the United States, hit up tsp.truecar.com.
Discounted price offers. And fun fact, it's actually easier to get a Kia EV6. If you are shopping for this, you might have to just get one of those instead.
Which is probably the same, just not as cool looking. But anyways, if you're in the United States, see what dealers have at tsp.truecar.com. Door handles.
They're pretty cool.
When you walk up, they pop out sideways, and then you can like push to pop them out and open them. It's nice and satisfying, not like a lot of cars where it's got a handle, you click the button, and then it just pops out. Like,
yeah, and can I mention the most luxurious thing that's ever happened to me with a vehicle this morning?
No.
Okay, walking up to the car, key in my pocket. I actually already pre-started it because, yes, you can pre-start this because it has a remote starter on the key fob. Walking up to it with my bag, walked around as the door handles popped open, but I was going to the trunk. It started to beep. I was like, oh yes, this is a Hyundai. I know exactly what's happening. The trunk popped open for me, put my bag in, and then I got in and it was already on.
And there's a ton of room back there. I took this out with baby stuff. Lots of room for a stroller back there. And the back seat had a lot of room for the baby seat, and it has built-in baby shades, which is awesome.
And this actually has more passenger volume than the Volkswagen ID4.
And let's fold down all the seats and look at that real quick. Ooh, yeah, that's some big SUV space, even though this is kind of a car-ish.
Kind of a hatchback-ish.
Just a big hatchback.
Yes.
Hatchback.
Which is what SUVs are. We kind of got sidetracked. Let's finish off with the outside.
Okay. I think we mentioned everything we wanted to mention.
Taillights.
We mentioned that. They're cool.
Yeah, but they're like really cool,
Really
especially when
cool.
you see the turn signals and the brake lights.
Okay, we didn't mention the frunk, which is you just open the hood and there's a very small compartment, but then there's like, I guess a lot of electronics in there. And there's like a normal battery, which like I was surprised that electric cars would have normal batteries.
Of course they do.
But like, how would you boost a car with your electric car if it didn't have a normal battery?
Yeah, there's ways that you have to do stuff. It's very specific, and you just stay away from the orange cables.
I don't hate that there's no frunk. You hate that there's no frunk in electric cars.
I feel like it's a thing. It's a missed opportunity considering Tesla and other companies have solved that.
So overall, looks-wise, is this the best-looking car of the year? Do you agree?
Yes. Gas car, electric car, just best-looking car to so far come out, yes.
Congratulations, Hyundai. Feel free to cut up this clip and use this on your social media.
Yeah, don't use the rest of the clips from the charging part.
And I actually wanted to buy an IONIQ 5 after driving this for like the first couple days. I need a better family car because right now we have a two-door GTI, which is total pain.
Yeah.
And this was good for a lot of it. But the thing that was the biggest red flag for me, the seat comfort.
Really?
It's not that comfortable compared to a lot of other cars, especially compared to my wife's GTI. And even she said, like, she hates these seats compared to that. I think, because these seats are pretty big. I think they're meant for larger framed people. And like, I think I like buckety kind of seats more that are more comfortable.
I have no issues, maybe because I'm larger framed, but these are very comfortable, like zero issues in these seats.
Yeah, totally hate the seats. And then I'm gonna get into the other things that I hate just for fun. The speedometer on the digital gauge cluster is to the left. Because of that, it is kind of blocked by my steering wheel, and I would like it in the middle. However, there is a head-up display, which is very nice, and I can see it there. But like, there's no way at all to get the speedo in the middle. And say I put on my left signal, that moves there. If I put on my right signal and try to slow down and see my regen, I can't because it's blocked by the blind spot monitoring stuff.
That's kind of funny.
It's like weird little things that I don't like. Next thing that I didn't like, which I thought would be pretty hazardous if I was having my wife drive this around with her child, no rear wiper.
Yeah, I actually noticed that when we washed this car this morning. I was like, uh-oh, how do I dry the stuff that's left on the window? I had to turn on the rear defrost, which robbed me of energy.
The rear defrost is cool and all, but like, how many times have you been somewhere where like the road kicks up?
In the winter, yeah.
And okay, so then that'll clog it up. Like the defrost isn't gonna like get rid of dirt.
No.
And then I was driving in the rain. I'm like, I can see like smudges behind me, but that's not good. I did see a thing on Reddit where somebody, I think quoted from Globe and the Mail, quoted that somebody at Hyundai said they were supposed to have them, but they were surprised they aren't, and I guess they might be having them in the future or something.
So maybe you're gonna have to retrofit this model. With
I don't know if you can
future. No,
retrofit,
you
but like
can't.
the thing is, even if you buy it, like you could probably resell it because car prices are crazy right now.
Yeah,
Like, you wouldn't even lose on it.
You know what this needs is a digital mirror with a camera on the back, like Cadillacs have.
It just needs a wiper.
Yeah, or that.
Pretty sure. Well, I don't even know what's cheaper, to be honest.
Yeah, cameras are pretty cheap these days.
And the next thing that I don't like is that the climate controls are all capacitive touch kind of screen stuff, and you really have to concentrate to aim for certain things to see them. It's just not super easy.
I totally agree. It's nice that they're separate, but you kind of end up using the infotainment because it's actually kind of easier.
And then also this trim, all-wheel drive, long range, I feel like that's more than I'd need. I'd be fine with just a two-wheel drive and a shorter range, and that adds a lot more to the price.
Yeah, and then you can't get the more horsepower with the rear-wheel drive, so you can miss out on that too.
Yeah, but it just sucks because I love the way it looks so much, but there's these little things that just make it not perfect for me right now, so I think we're just going to stick with our GTI.
Fair enough. And what about the range, Yuri? We had some problems with this.
Well, the problems were charging.
Yes. It's not the car.
The range is great. It's the charging infrastructure. So, okay. So we met up to switch over the EQS and the IONIQ 5. We went to the same charger that everyone's bragging about at Electrify Canada, which is owned by Electrify America, which is owned by the Volkswagen Group that I just found out a couple days ago, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I told you that. Which also, by the way, that 350 kilowatt charger is the only 350 kilowatt charger in the area.
So we went there, and that was the one that was previously blocked off when COVID was running wild and all the malls were closed. Now there's a huge snowbank, which makes it difficult to get in, and the 351 wasn't working. So we called them, and they gave us free charging on the other ones because payment was unavailable on the other ones. You couldn't pay, and then the one next to it was broken.
Yeah, so 3 out of the 4 chargers were broken in some way.
And then to add to that, some people were like, you should try the Petro one. There's a Petro one that's really good in the area. We went to that one, and
both of them were also broken there, so...
surprise, surprise. But then after, you went to the flow charger that usually gets iced by ice cars.
Yep.
And you started charging up, but you don't have...
No, I didn't. I had to call you.
Because you don't have a flow account, and they don't accept tap by credit card, which I think is criminal, because if you had to have a special app to get you know, gas at a gas station, that would be straight up bonkers.
Yeah, so I had to call Yuri. Yuri enabled charging for me because he actually had to preload money onto his account because he had an account.
Yeah.
Enabled it while he wasn't even there, and then I actually plugged in and was able to charge.
And then a dude in an old IONIQ showed up to wait in line to charge next. So because you had to charge to film, this guy had to wait, and we talked to him. He's got like a daily commute. He charges a lot. His route pretty much has zero problems, which is good for him.
Disagree, because he also told us the reason he was at this charger this morning was because the typical charger that he goes to was actually broken.
Yeah. And then his battery has degraded a bunch, and he's got an IONIQ 5 on pre-order. So shout out, Josh. Hope you get your IONIQ 5 super fast.
Yeah, we let him check this one out because he's really excited about this car because he wants the extra range because his 2019 IONIQ already is seeing battery degradation.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when I rolled up in the EQS, I was like, yo, do we play rock, paper, scissors, or what first? He's like, yo, I've actually been away. I'm like, I know, I'm messing around. I'm buddies with him. And I was just talking about the etiquette and stuff. So that charger has been the same charger since 2017.
Yes.
And there are no more chargers there.
No, and it's still a 50 kilowatt charger.
That was 5 years ago.
Yes.
I literally hate the charging infrastructure in Canada for non-Teslas.
It's the worst.
I don't want to, because Tesla's kind of crazy too, but they got their charging figured out.
Exactly.
That's our charging rant for. So
also, I know everyone's going to say, leave a comment, yes, 80% or 90% of charging is done at home. However, in that 10 or 20%, this is what you may experience.
Yeah. And you know what? I charge this thing at home, and it got me an extra 10% overnight on my normal wall plug. But like, I own a home. If I was to buy this, then I need to retrofit my house to 200 volt or 240 volt.
200 amp, yeah.
And then I gotta install like a level 2 charger at home. Like, that's a lot to do too. I am the real world case. Like, I would just suffer on a plug for a while and then go out and make sure I charge at the mall and stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
It's difficult unless you have a Tesla. And before I get you into the driver's seat, I'm going to put it into sport mode, move my armrest up so both elbows can touch the steering wheel perfectly.
Here, we can't afford the energy right now.
I don't care. I'm going to boot through cliche.
We only have 90 kilometers left. I got to get home.
And the back wants to get out so hard. Like, this is almost like a straight up drift machine.
This is for all-wheel drive? Holy crap.
Stab and go.
This is amazing. Wow.
All right. Redeemed. Your turn to drive.
Okay.
Are you cool switching here?
Yeah,
I'm going to do you a favor. You don't even have to leave the car to get into the passenger seat or to get to the driver's seat.
Oh, you're...
But I'm going over... No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, this is going to be a little awkward. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, yeah. It's a Hyundai, Yuri. Let me just adjust my seat.
You know, if you were charging, you could recline the seat all the way and lie down.
Fully aware of that. Okay, so we have 89 kilometers. Watch this. Fun fact. Fan off, 97. 89, 87, 84, 82, 77, 72, 69. Nice. Okay, fan speed off. Maximum energy.
You gonna brake boost it?
Yeah. Didn't do anything.
Oh,
okay.
It's still pretty good with 31%, but yeah, I got nothing left.
Yeah, it runs out of steam kind of around the speed limit part.
And the reason that we can't show you a proper review with full power again is all that stuff we talked about, so.
Yeah, we did charge this morning, and we have to film the review. We filmed all the driving shots. Just so you guys know, the filming of the driving shots happens first while the car is clean, and then we review it. Now we only have minimal kilometerage left.
I'm gonna Kramer this thing down to turtle mode.
Good luck.
I'm gonna get to a station that I hope is working.
Yeah, exactly. You have to circle the station first, and then. We're now at 30%. You're just gonna take your phone out of the wireless charger. I need all the juice I need. Okay, I'm gonna floor it. This thing is really, really beyond decent.
It's very good power. I'm more than happy with it.
Comparing this to a Mach-E non-GT, I like this a lot more. For several different reasons. Number one being the looks. Number two, the actual suspension, the damping, isn't all bouncy like the regular Mach-E was. The GT had it right with the MagneRide, but obviously that's way more money.
yeah, this has been like nothing but comfortable suspension-wise on roads.
Yeah, and another thing is it's very quiet in here. Yes, the Mach-E was also quiet, but it's just a nice thing with electric cars. You pretty much only hear the fan speed robbing you of your electricity.
Don't you feel like this is kind of just a Genesis wrapped up in a Hyundai? Like, they gave this all the cool stuff.
They really did, like Highway Driving Assist 2, which, hang on, we'll get to that in a bit.
Oh, you can't bring it up without us talking about it.
Yes, I can. Okay, drive modes. So we have this drive mode button on the steering wheel, which looks like a Porsche thing, but Yuri and I both tried to spin it. It doesn't spin. You got to press it. Fair enough. We have Eco, Normal, and Sport. Very, very simple drive modes. And you can actually fully, well, sort of fully defeat traction to the point that it's actually really fun.
You can turn off traction and stability easily with a hard button.
Send it into cliche corner with traction off, and this is amazing. Like, yes, there's body roll. Yes, this feels heavy, but the fact that it actually wants to oversteer is so impressive. Like,
it moves the way you want it to move.
yeah, it's so cool. Like, the Mach-E, you have to do the stab and go. This, you don't have to do it as much. This is like floatier and more fun to drive.
This is very fun to drive. And then back to those drive modes, they are linked to your gauge mode displays, which
Yes.
looks really cool. But it's not as customizable as you'd think from Hyundai's, like, because they have all these cool things. And this is like,
Bro, where's my cubes?
But you've got in the middle your distribution, which is cool. You can tell when you're on the highway that it goes to like rear wheel drive mode. It's nice.
You know how much I love my distribution gauges, and you can see where the power is being distributed with the battery as well, and your battery level. And everything's really well laid out. Like, all the information that you need is right where you need it.
And next to your remaining mileage, it shows you what side the charge port is on, and this one's really cool. It's electronic, it flaps up, and you can also have the attachment where it'll power other stuff.
Yes, the V2L.
And because of that, you can also go through your settings and leave how much power you need left in your car. So if you're camping for like 3 days and blasting the stereo.
Bro, you can apparently like run like a dishwasher or something off this. Like, it's pretty impressive.
But you can make sure you have your 30% to get home.
Exactly. Like, they thought of a lot of really cool things, especially with that. Some other cars are getting that, like the Mercedes EQS that we're also driving. However, that is only Japan for now, which is kind of weird. So it's cool that they brought this stuff here. And with the charging stuff, this actually has an 800-volt architecture, and the only other car that I can think of right now is the Taycan, which is also the e-tron GT or whatever.
But you can't charge those if the charger's broken.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
problem.
Volkswagen.
Yeah. Let's stop trying to get on the hit list for Volkswagen.
I'm gonna get into so much trouble.
Oh yeah, that whole road.
Actually, though,
Yeah.
because that's pretty much a full review on the company. Like, we can't. It's not an independent charger.
Correct.
Yeah.
And some other battery-related things. This actually has a heat pump, which you definitely want in your electric car, and there's also a battery heating system.
And what's cool is I had the app, I was logged in, and I could preheat the car from home, but I could not, for some reason, turn on the rear defroster through the app.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, like, kind of, especially with there's no wiper thing.
I really wish I can clean it. I notice it getting really dirty right now.
Yeah. Yo, just defrost it. Defrost the mud.
No, I need the kilometers right now.
I asked someone on Twitter who had the EV6 in the States, and I'm like, does that have a rear wiper? He's like, no, but I live in California. It doesn't matter.
I guess, yeah.
So now, one thing that I think is really cool about this is the regenerative braking on this vehicle, and it's controlled with your paddles, kind of like that old IONIQ that we liked so much. So if you click the right paddle all the way, you are in normal, zero, coast mode. But if you want it to come to a full stop without using your brakes, hold that left paddle.
Max, it says.
Max, and will it come to, I think it'll come to a full stop.
It will, and it'll say stop.
And when you let off that, even if you're using it for a little bit, it'll go back to the mode you were in before.
Stop.
Okay, now give it some
And now I'm
acceleration.
0.
You're still level 0.
It's smart.
But then you can go 1, 2, or 3, so it's got like a little bit of one pedal driving-ish. And then from 3, if you, I think, double click or hold, you're an I pedal, which is really cool. And you can easily come to a full stop whenever you want. And I love I pedal mode, but my only complaint, floor it, is that when you restart your car, you're not in I pedal mode. So I'll leave my house, come up to the first stop sign, let off, and then all of a sudden I'm like rolling the stop sign. I'm like, oh crap, I pedal.
It kind of makes sense that it doesn't do that. I don't like iPedal mode. I don't.
But
like
shouldn't you
this
be
stuff.
able to like turn that on in the setting? Like every time I start it, I like this mode. It's a mode I'm given.
I feel like Tesla would allow you to do something like that. And since we're talking about these paddles, the actual paddles themselves feels like I don't know, like a meat cleaver, like
Meat hammer.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You definitely won't lose grip in the winter.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Didn't really care for it one way or another.
I kind of want to send this again, Yuri.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, it's understeering. It definitely wants to understeer because the roads are getting a little bit slicker as we go. But okay, the steering. That's the next thing I'd like to address. It feels a little vague, like actually quite vague. At first, it's very light, and then it kind of gets overboosted and heavy.
In fairness, we are also driving the Mercedes EQS right now, and without me driving this all last week because we had it for a couple of weeks, I didn't think the steering was like weird at all, just nice and light. But when you compare it to something so good as an electric S-Class, pretty much.
Yes, but getting out of my Fiesta ST and getting into this, I notice it.
Yeah, and then back to the brake pedal. Is there anything weird about it?
I haven't noticed anything strange. I don't mind it at all. Yeah.
Great job. You want to know what there's something strange about? Highway driving assist.
Okay, go for it.
So we have adaptive cruise and lane keep in this. Most of you know I love Hyundai Kia Genesis lane keep. However, some Hyundais shimmy like this between the lanes too much.
They sway a lot.
Like an uncomfortable amount where it's just someone incorrectly tuned the vehicle.
And this has that.
This has the bad one. However, I don't think I've ever had a bad one on any Genesis, but a bunch of Hyundais have had them.
And this is Highway Driving Assist 2.
Yeah, so like it works well, but it's overcompensating. Like the PID loop is awful. So if you need this for highway driving assist, I would not recommend this car.
Yeah, because like you can see the steering wheel kind of shimmy and shake, and you can actually feel it.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's something they can over the air update and tune. So if you're getting like a 2022, like it's just not good for that.
Just assume that the vehicle that you're getting is what you're getting. Do not assume you're gonna get an update.
Yeah, I don't know. Updates scare me.
Yeah, like they probably will, but assume that you won't.
I don't know if they could like. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably can, man.
I feel like we're the only ones who are going to complain about it.
I don't know.
You want to hear some other stuff that I think rocks?
Yes.
The 360 camera.
Oh man, this is like straight up like out of an Audi.
It is awesome. It spins all the way around. It's very fluid. The graphics look nice. You can see the modes where you see your front wheels, your back wheels, all that stuff. And then you also have Smart Park on your key fob. And you also have the stuff where you can automatically park it while you're in the car, or set up the automatic parking so you can park it from outside the car, which is a really cool party trick. However, not very good when there's snowbanks covering all the roads that the city of Toronto still hasn't cleared up.
Yeah, well, that's the reality of living in Ontario.
Ontario!
And then we also have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It does rewind Sirius XM. We do have the bulbs, but they are blue instead of amber.
Ooh, okay, we have heated seats, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, and that is all controlled through your warmer button. Yeah. So if you want ventilated seats, you need to click the warmer button.
Yes.
Which took me a little while to figure out, but since it's an EV, you can also do a driver-only fan mode, which I think is really good for saving on some mileage.
And the steering wheel is an interesting shape because it's only got 2 prongs on it.
Love it. And apparently those 4 dots are Morse code for H.
Interesting.
Hyundai. I mean, it gets going. I just switch it up a bit.
Just right there.
Just another reason to talk about it.
IONIQ. Okay. Then we have this shifter thing, which very girthy.
Makes sense.
It does make sense. Put it? Yeah. And then all the switchgear is actually very high quality, like very nice to press.
The shapes of these buttons on the door are awesome, and the materials too.
The materials are really good. They're all eco materials, but like you kind of can't tell. Like everything feels very nice.
Then we got a little bit of ambient lighting here and there around the speakers and stuff. Nothing too crazy.
What I don't like about this interior is the fact that these gauge screens are white.
You can switch it to an auto mode so it is white.
No. This.
Yeah, but then it'll match.
Yeah, but I still don't like this.
Yeah, but
I don't want it to match. I want everything to just be black.
Yeah.
Why does it need to be white?
But then it's white and matches the daytime, because sometimes it could be hard to see that in the day. I mean,
I don't need to see a white speaker vent or a white surround around these massive bezels, because now I can see the massive bezels.
Super doesn't bother me, but I totally get what you're saying. And then we do have an EV button in the infotainment. And from that, we can see how much range we have, a couple things to help us get more range. And then if we click this, we can see a map or directions to closest EV stations, but they don't really have good information. So it's hard to know what's working, what's not working, what's what level.
But I just like that it exists. Like, okay, I just need a charger.
In desperation, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully it's there, because that's pretty cool to see.
And then as for other buttons here, we've got a volume knob, we have a tuning flap, and then we have a star so we can get to Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but then we have a map and a nav button, but no home.
Yeah.
I like a home button more than I like map and nav, and I'd like my camera button closer than my map and nav, because I don't think anybody in their right mind ever uses onboard navigation and maps.
No, and I don't even know why they're separate buttons. Like, that's a little excessive.
But what's cool is if you have your navigation on board, you get an augmented reality head-up display. So it'll show the directions on the road while you're driving. If you get out of the lane, it'll show you on the lane that you're going out of it through the head-up display. And then if you have a adaptive cruise, it'll put a little ball under the car in front of you, but you do need to set up the head-up display to line up perfectly while driving.
Yeah, and it's impressive, but I don't like it. I would never use it. Is that everything with this car, Yuri?
Okay, back seat room.
Okay, there's tons of room back there. Super comfortable for myself at 6'1.5".
And you can recline it too. You can move the privacy shade back more to get more out of it.
Like, I'm actually more comfortable in the back of this than I am in the back of the EQS, which is kind of crazy.
Okay, and then this center console thing that slides forward and back, it is pretty cool. What I think is really cool is when you lift this up, you have a lot of room for a bag, a purse, or anything. My fanny pack, it gets a nice spot, especially if you have like a fancy purse or something. You can put that there and it gets out of the way of everything.
Yeah, it's a good place to just throw all my garbage.
Yeah, you can put garbage there too. And then there's like a little cubby here for more garbage or whatever, or snacks, which I think is great, except then you got your USB cable coming out of there like pretty far out here. And these ones are battery, so you actually need to run off that.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, cup holders. Up here, they fit small cups great. This is a medium cup today, no complaints. And visors.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Full pass.
However, I do like the white matching headliner visors to match this. So if you had this in, let me see if I can get it to. See if it's white, it matches better, but it looks a little awkward.
I hate this right now.
It's kind of weird.
It's too bright and like it's hard to read this.
So you're saying for the next generation they should go all black bevel?
Just everything, yeah.
I could get behind that.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Guys, sorry if that was a long one. This is a brand new car, a lot to talk about. Every future update will be shorter and we'll be a lot quicker on the EV6 one. I feel like I'm done reviewing electric cars because look at this bullshit. I have to click here to change the settings between my volume knob and my climate, and then when I'm driving, this is blocked. Why? Let's get to the price.
The IONIQ 5 starts at $44,999
Canadian.
This one is $62,824.
If you get a rebate, and especially compared to how much older IONIQs are going for, I think that's a reasonable price. And I think if you just go for two-wheel drive and less power, that's a good option too. Like, I think I'd be just as happy with that.
I like this car a lot. That is a lot of money. However, it's in the range of basically everything else that this competes with. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and if you're not on a waiting list and you want to get one right away, hit up tsp.truecar.com and see what's around in inventory.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or the competitors. I mean, they may have more too. Get an EV6.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, but I'd rather see more of these on the road.
These look so cool.
So cool.
And this is the best color. The blue color is kind of weird.
Yeah, the matte paint's nice on this.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.